seems so real. I started to believe it myself.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 30 most brutal fates worse than death on Goosebumps. Beware of spooky spoilers ahead.
I'd say you made us plenty durable.
Durable enough for revenge, anyway.
Number 30. Turned into a lawn gnome, Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. When Joe and Mindy's dad comes home with new garden gnomes, Joe senses something is off with them.
No? Are these things terrific or what?
I don't know. They're kind of evil looking.
Evil?
I think they're cute.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not only do they look creepy, but at night they come alive. The gnomes trash the garden of Mr. McCall, the neighbor. Of course, Joe gets blamed for everything because who would believe that garden gnomes can come to life? Unfortunately for Mr. McCall, the gnomes are real, and when he goes to trash them, he gets turned into one himself. It's a pretty sad existence to be a lifeless garden decoration for the rest of your existence. Number 29. Becoming a Dog, My Hairiest Adventure. Larry Boyd discovers there are a lot of dogs in the neighborhood. After finding a bottle of Suspect, expired suntan lotion, he notices he's growing hair on his body. Like a lot of hair.
Do we have any hair remover?
Hair remover?
Never mind.
Not only that, but his friends are disappearing, seemingly becoming dogs. Larry meets the same fate by becoming a dog. In the end, we find out that the town Larry's parents lived in conducted experiments turning dogs into humans.
Mr. and Mrs. Boyd came here to be part of Dr. Merkin's project. He learned how to turn dogs into humans. That's why I got those shots every 2 weeks.
It's wildly unethical experimentation. While being a dog may not be the worst in itself, the fact that you can be taken at any moment and experimented on at the whim of somebody else is terrifying. Number 28. Tormented by a Baby, Strain Peas. Nicholas's parents come home with a baby girl named Grace. Right off the bat, something is terribly wrong when the newborn unleashes this monstrous hiss at Nick.
She is hungry. I'm gonna take her upstairs.
He starts to become convinced that Grace is trying to eliminate him. He tries to tell his parents that Grace is not of this world, but they don't believe him. Eventually, it's revealed there's a mix-up at the hospital and Nicholas's parents were given the wrong baby. Despite being oddly chill about being given the wrong child, the family decides to name their actual newborn Chloe. All seems well for Nick until we discover that Chloe seems to have the same abilities as Grace, meaning Nick's got a long road ahead of him.
Hey, baby Chloe. I'm Big Brother Nicholas.
Could that baby talk and give me some food? None of that mushy junk.
Number 27. Left as monster food. How to kill a monster. Step-siblings Gretchen and Clark arrive at their grandparents' house in the swamp while their newlywed parents are on their honeymoon. There are weird rumblings heard around the house, but the grandparents claim the sounds are just swamp gas.
Did you hear that?
What?
That!
That.
That was swamp gas.
The pair soon discovers that there's a monster in the house that's trying to eat them. They get to the basement where they defeat the monster. Unfortunately, Gretchen and Clark find out too late that they were supposed to stay in the house and not be in the swamp after dark, since there are many more monsters lurking about.
Whatever happens, don't go out into the swamp after dark. So, got any more ideas?
Being left to fend off swamp monsters is not an ideal situation to be left in. Number 26. Scarecrow Revenge. Scarecrow walks at midnight. Mark and Jody visit their grandparents' farm and things seem a little off. Observing the scarecrows, they are warned by a farmhand, Stanley, that scarecrows walk at midnight.
Oh, hi Stanley.
A scarecrow walks at midnight.
Stanley, are you confused again?
No, I'm just telling you. I made him walk one time.
Of course, they brush it off because, come on, it's a scarecrow. Soon it becomes evident that they are alive and they are attacking humans. Magic was used by Stanley to bring them to life, and just when it seems like our heroes are doomed, Mark saves the day with a combine.
You did it!
Just when it seems like everyone can rest easy, Stanley inadvertently reads a spell, bringing the scarecrows back to life, and they take their revenge. Number 25. eaten by a blob monster, the blob that ate everyone. Zach and Alex enter a store that was destroyed in a lightning storm. They find an old typewriter that the store's owner gives to Zach on the condition that he writes a scary story.
You might as well just take it, if you promise to write a really scary story.
Excuse me?
Go on, you can have it. At least somebody will get some good out of this.
Zach begins writing a story, and oddly enough, what he writes starts to become true. When Zach writes a story about a blob monster is when the real trouble starts. A real-life blob monster begins to attack the town. At the video store, his friend Adam is devoured by the monster, and we can't imagine that's a pleasant way to go. Thankfully, Zach figures out how to restore everything, and Adam is brought back with no recollection of what happened.
I do! I have the power!
What power?
Forget it. You wouldn't understand.
Number 24, becoming enslaved, calling all creeps. Ricky hates being called a creep. He soon finds out that there's a group of underground lizard people posing as humans who, coincidentally, are known as creeps.
We are glad we found you, Commander. The creeps are ready to serve.
The creeps believe Ricky is their covert leader and they will transform all the kids at school into creeps. He goes along with the ruse so he doesn't get eaten. Eventually, transformation seeds are placed into cookies for all the students to eat. Ricky tries to stop it from happening, but after he gets made fun of, he decides to join the creeps as all those who transform will be under his command.
Once they eat the cookies, you'll be their ruler.
The ruler?
Of course, they'll be your slaves.
They'll have to do anything you say.
Number 23, stalked by an executioner, a night in Terror Tower. Sue and Eddie visit Terror Tower while part of a tour group. During their time in the tower, they start to experience strange occurrences.
Did you see that? What's going on?
They're transported back in time when they assume the roles of a young prince and princess who were executed in the tower. They are chased by the Lord High Executioner who is supposed to carry out their death sentence. Sue and Eddie are able to return to the present and rejoin the tour group. Things seem all well and good until we learn that the executioner has also made it to the present, presumably to carry out their death sentence. And the worst part is, Sue and Eddie think they're safe.
Have you been up to your tricks again?
Hey, don't look at me!
Number 22, at the mercy of the reality police. Don't go to sleep. Matt hates being the youngest in his family since he doesn't get nearly the same privileges as his older siblings.
Being grown up isn't always so easy. Be glad you're 12.
Well, I'm not glad.
While up in his attic, he somehow gets transported to different realities where he's a prominent hockey player, surgeon, and a bomb diffuser. All this reality hopping puts him on the radar of the reality police, and he's charged with crimes against reality. In a bizarre trial, Matt is found guilty. But before we find out what his punishment is, he wakes from what seems to be a bad dream. However, it wasn't a dream. The reality police are back to take him away.
Back to reality. Just good old boring reality.
Boring? Oh, Matt, the fun's just beginning.
Perhaps the most terrifying thing of all is not knowing what your fate is. Number 21, stuck in a haunted board game, the Haunted House game. Jonathan and Nadine come across a young girl who asks them to help her find her lost cat. The pair enter an abandoned house looking for the feline where they find a board game.
Rules of play. Rule number 1, don't open the box. Why wouldn't they want us to open the box?
They get sucked into the game and now have to play it in order to get out alive. As they advance across the board, they come across Annie and Noah, who are also playing the game but have been trapped for years. Annie and Noah turn out to be ghosts who plan to trap Jonathan and Nadine as game pieces and show others who've suffered that fate.
You're not going anywhere. Now you're part of the game.
Just like the ones before you.
What are you talking about?
Let us go. We found our way out. We won.
Thankfully, Jonathan and Nadine escape, but we still feel bad for those who haven't. Number 20, forced to wear a mask permanently, The Haunted Mask and Haunted Mask 2. Desperate to find a costume scary enough to frighten her tormentors, Carly Beth stole a terrifying mask from a creepy store. The twisted face quickly corrupts her normally gentle personality. When Carly Beth tries to remove it, she realizes she can't take it off.
There's no line in between the mask and your skin. There's no place I can reach my hand in. That's crazy. That's just crazy.
Her friend Steve makes the same horrifying realization in Haunted Mask 2. As added salt to his wounds, his mask also makes him feel like a sickly old man.
You are under my power now, old man.
I'm not an old man. I'm a kid.
You were.
Fortunately for both Carly Beth and Steve, acts of love help them get the mask off before it's too late. But they're still not out of the woods. Since Carly Beth's mask is powerful, it may return to permanently replace her face. Number 19. Cursed by an EVO Camera. Say cheese and die. And say cheese and die again. If you ever come across a weird looking camera in a seemingly abandoned place, maybe you shouldn't use it to take photos like Greg did. Every time he snapped the pic, something terrible happened to the subject of the photo. The camera caused the kid to fall off stairs and for a teacher to instantly lose his hair. However, it's capable of a lot worse. Greg's friend Sherry literally disappears from existence.
It knew that Sherry was gonna disappear.
Oh, man.
No, look, don't you get it? It predicts the future, and it makes it bad.
The creator also became trapped inside out the device during a heated confrontation. Since the punishment the camera subjects you to is admittedly random, you could get off easy. But given what you've heard, would you ever test fate by getting your photo taken?
Don't you remember how dangerous that camera is? All the horrible things it did? It made me disappear. I gotta get to school. I'm not letting you go.
Number 18. Becoming paranoid of plant clones. Stay out of the basement. Both Casey and Margaret Brewer were nearly scared to death when they tried to go into their dad's basement. Things only got worse when they discovered their father accidentally made a plant clone of himself down there.
I'm your real father. He's not your dad. He's not even human. He's a plant.
You're the plant.
No. He's lying.
And this copy didn't have the best intentions for the young Brewers. But since the kids are able to expose the predator and eliminate it, this story had a happy ending, right? Not exactly. It's revealed that multiple plants have sprouted near the house that sound exactly like Dr. Brewer.
Margaret, help me. Please help me.
The story leaves it ambiguous as to whether the ones we see on screen are the only ones out there. In the future, none of the Brewers may be able to look at plants without getting seriously paranoid.
We're just here to use the bathroom. And then we're just gonna leave. I hope that's okay.
Number 17. Mutated against your will. Deep trouble. Few characters were more deserving of their terrible fate than Jacob Ritter.
I'm not gonna let you throw away all our hard work just because you don't have the guts to see it through. You can't just leave us on this island, Ritter. This is insane. Have a nice life. What's left of it.
This lab assistant tricked people into taking a serum called D13 that mutated them into inhuman creatures. To make matters worse, he tried to pin his crimes on an innocent doc. Ritter's attempts to get rid of all the witnesses turns out to be his undoing. After they expose that he's responsible, the mutants hunt him down and force him to drink D13. Ritter proceeds to grow gills and becomes marketed as a sideshow attraction. It's unclear if his captor will ever let him go. And although there's an antidote that can reverse the process, there's no telling if Ritter will ever get it.
What do you think happened to Ritter?
Yeah, he sort of disappeared after those fish people got hold of him.
Number 16. Playing piano for eternity. Piano lessons can be murder. Jerry's music lessons take a turn for the creepy when a disturbing teacher starts obsessing over his hands.
But with hands like these, I'm sure you'll be a perfect student.
Shortly after a very questionable lesson, a ghost arrives and tells the kid to stay away from the instructor. Unfortunately, Jerry's parents force him to go back to the terrible school. The kid then learns that an unhinged inventor named Andrew Toggle is trying to take his hands. Although Jerry escapes, the adult doesn't get off so easily. The ghost that warned the kid reappears and forces Andrew to play piano for eternity. All the while, she doesn't allow breaks and constantly criticizes him. Our hands are cramping at the thought of this cruel and karmic punishment.
How much longer? Till eternity, you lazy boy.
Number 15. Being stuck as a shrunken pet. How I Got My Shrunken Head, Part 2.
Either you tell me what I want to know, or the next time you see your nephew, he'll be wearing a much smaller hat.
The Hollings family wanted to control the power of Kalia, aka jungle magic, for themselves. So they attempted to force a kid named Mark and his aunt into helping them attain power. But by the end of the story, Mark uses the power of Kalia to escape, and all 3 members of the family are shrunken to a tiny size. Mark decides to keep them imprisoned within a small tank in his room.
Give us something. We need something.
Calm down. I didn't forget.
The thought of being left at the mercy of a kid who could forget to feed you is pretty terrifying. And even if they did escape, they could easily be eaten by creatures as small as a mouse or just get stepped on. The Hollings shouldn't have messed with this magic.
Don't worry, you guys. My Aunt Benna said she was gonna find a way to bring you back to your normal size. When? She's gonna bring it when she comes to visit. On my 16th birthday.
Number 14. Tricked into starring on Twisted shows. One Day at Horrorland.
We want to thank you for being our guest today on Horrorland Hidden Camera!
What should have been a fun family outing to an amusement park turned into a roller coaster of horrors for the Morris family. Eventually, they learned that they kept getting scared because they were on a hidden camera reality show for monsters. While the kids tried to leave when they get a chance, the parents pushed their luck and agreed to star in the game show.
No, wait, just, I don't think it would hurt to just play the game.
This decision leads to the quartet being threatened and hunted. And when they think they've escaped, it's revealed that the Morris family is still being tormented on live TV. Who knows how many shows they were forced to star in? All we know for certain is that they should have read the fine print of their TV contracts.
Whoa! Now that's what I call a cliffhanger! Will the Morris family ever get out of Horrorland?
Number 13. Forced to age overnight, an old story. While Tom and John are being babysat by their aunt, she peer pressures them into eating prune-based foods. Although they enjoy the meals, they quickly notice that they're aging rapidly. Tom and John soon discovered that their aunt was forcefully aging the duo. Why? Because she wanted the new adults to be sold as husbands to single ladies.
Nobody's getting married until you pay my fee, then we'll talk. Oh, well, don't worry about that. They're so delicious.
While that scheme was terrifying and wrong in about 100 different ways, the suffering doesn't end there. After discovering that baby food can de-age them, John eats too much and turns into a child. It's implied that there's a chance he can be returned to his original self. However, the duo will likely always live in fear that what they eat can massively change their age.
You like prunes. They're good for you. Delicious, too. Come on, John, don't be such a baby.
Number 12. Unwillingly swapping bodies with animals. The Barking Ghost. Anyone who sees a certain pair of ghostly dogs must prepare themselves for a terrible fate. Cooper and his friend Fergie learned this the hard way when they encountered the canines at night. Through a brief conversation, the duo discovered the ghost dogs were once humans that were transformed against their will. The evil animals decide to swap bodies with the innocent kids.
Fergie, what are we gonna do? We're dogs!
I gotta flee.
Quit messing around, we've gotta do something. Those creeps are probably passing themselves off as us right now.
Cooper and Fergie desperately try to get their bodies back while only being able to bark. Fortunately, they're able to reverse the process by confronting the dogs in the forest. But while they get their bodies back, Cooper's old brother Mickey accidentally switches places with a chipmunk. Did the clueless kid ever get his body back? We honestly don't know.
Hey, Cooper, you weasel. Don't leave me here. What am I gonna do? You gotta help me, Cooper. This isn't funny anymore.
Number 11. Left at the mercy of aliens. My best friend is invisible. We initially felt bad for Sammy because he was being haunted by a ghost named Brent. Although the spirit clearly exists, he wasn't able to prove it to anyone around him. But it turns out that Sammy wasn't the true victim. In a shocking reveal, it's revealed that Brent is actually a human boy who managed to turn invisible.
Please don't hurt me.
Brent?
It's a human, Sam.
Human? I thought there weren't any more humans.
As an added twist, Sammy, his parents, and everyone else we meet in the episode are actually alien creatures that forced humans off-world. Although the aliens promise not to hurt the human kid, we absolutely don't believe them. We shudder at the thought of what Brent's final fate could have been.
We won't hurt you, Brent. We promise.
Number 10. Being erased from time. The cuckoo clock of doom.
Enough, Michael. You've been going on about this all day.
I'm telling you, I'm caught in a time warp.
After Michael messes around with his father's new and ominous-looking cuckoo clock, he's forced to relive the events of his embarrassing birthday. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. Michael is forced to experience both his 6th birthday and what it's like being an infant again because the clock keeps sending him backwards in time. Although he's able to reverse the process in time, his annoying sister is a lot less lucky. Michael's actions cause her to be erased from existence.
Look, the year 1988 is missing.
That's the year Tara would have been born.
Who's Tara?
Nobody, Dad.
The idea of being completely deleted from the fabric of time is pretty terrifying. While it's implied that Michael might save her one day, there's always a chance that he'd get used to being an only child and let her fade from memory.
So Tara has never been born. I suppose there's some way to go back in time and get her, right? I guess I probably ought to do that. And I will. One of these days.
Number 9. Trapped in an empty void. Click. A young boy named Seth thought he hit the jackpot when he got his hands on a remote that could warp reality with the click of a button.
Always be sure to keep the Verona XG20 Universal Remote Control away from children. It's not a toy.
However, it soon becomes clear that the device is way too dangerous to risk using long term. Although Seth tries to throw it away, he ends up using it during a heated confrontation and accidentally traps himself in a void. It's unclear if there was any way for Seth to escape the dark prison he got stuck in. While he wasn't exactly the most virtuous character, he didn't deserve this seemingly permanent fate. Seth may have been forced to live out the rest of existence without a TV or human contact after he misused this powerful device.
We hope you enjoy your new Verona XG20 Universal Remote Control. If treated with proper care, it will bring you a lifetime of enjoyment.
No, Tony, wait!
Number 8. Transformed into a magic show rabbit. Bad hair day.
What's that?
It's a measles magic bag.
You stole it?
Yeah, I took it from his dressing room. See how amazing he is without it.
Since a magic enthusiast named Tim couldn't afford to buy his own tricks, he stole a bag from his favorite magician. He soon discovers there's a talking rabbit inside it that used to be a man. After Tim helps turn the hair human again, it's revealed that he actually helped an evil magician named L. Sidney get his body back.
Aren't we having fun yet? The great Timothini is far too valuable to lose. Besides, we had a deal, remember? I need you in my act.
The twisted sorcerer immediately turns the boy into a rabbit. Being transformed into an animal against your will is horrible enough. However, the fact that Tim now has to be part of potentially dangerous magic shows makes matters even worse. The rabbit boy has no idea if the next performance will be his last.
Don't worry, Tim. I'll think of something. I'll get us out of this.
Number 7. Given to Ghosts Forever, the House of No Return.
Just 1 hour. If you can make it for 1 hour, you're in. They call it the House of No Return. Why?
Anyone who wants to join the kids group known as Danger Incorporated has to prove their worth by staying in a haunted house for an hour. After the 3 members of this alliance force a young boy named Chris into the house, he encounters the ghost of a couple who want to take care of kids. When the trio tries to save him later, they realize they fell right into a very spooky trap. Chris won his freedom from the ghost by promising that members of Danger Incorporated would take his place.
What kind of a bargain was it?
He promised that if we let him go, 3 children would take his place.
3 for 1 trade.
The kids definitely deserve a heaping dose of karma after what they did to a prospective member, but their actions ensured they would be imprisoned by spirits until they became ghosts themselves.
Are you gonna let us go?
Let you go? We can't let you go. We're a family now.
We love you.
And we're going to love you. Forever.
Number 6. Stuck with bad luck forever. It came from beneath the sink. Shortly after moving into a new house, Kat discovered an old sponge underneath the sink. Unfortunately, this innocent kitchen item was something far more sinister known as a gruel. This being's presence causes Kat to have nothing but bad luck. Since it fed on her misfortune, it got stronger whenever something terrible happened. And Kat couldn't even give it away because pawning a gruel off to someone else would cause her to die.
If the owner gives the girl away, the owner dies.
I must be the owner. I'm the one that found it.
This unlucky kid was sentenced to a life living with this ominous creature solely because she looked under her sink. Although Kat finds a way to keep it in check, the last scene suggests that her bad luck will still persist.
What is it? A potato?
Number 5. Getting turned into a statue. Be careful what you wish for. In exchange for performing a good deed for a mysterious woman, Samantha is allowed to make wishes.
Make your first wish.
Okay. I wish I was the best player on the basketball team.
It becomes clear that every single one of her requests comes with horrible side effects. After accidentally turning most of the people she knows into flies, Samantha allows a mean classmate named Judith to make wishes instead. The wicked girl immediately makes a self-centered request to be constantly admired.
I wish that wherever I was, people would gather around and admire me.
Unfortunately for Judith, this wish causes her to be turned into a statue. While her stone facade is constantly smiling, we have no idea if she is still conscious. One stray wish may have led a mean girl to have her terrible fate permanently etched in stone.
Oh, look, how beautiful.
It's lovely.
Yes!
Number 4. Being replaced by an EVO mirror clone. Let's get invisible.
We could do experiments.
Isn't that sort of dangerous?
Well, how else are we supposed to understand how it works? I mean, it seems like each time we do it, the longer it takes to get back.
When Noah, his brother Max, and a few of their friends discover a mirror that can make them invisible, they have a lot of fun with the concept. But the magical piece of furniture quickly becomes no joke. It turns out that every time they go invisible, they risk being replaced by an evil version of themselves that live within the mirror.
They can't hear you. You can't escape me now, Max. It's switching time. One by one, we will bring you here.
While Max is able to fight off his clone, Noah isn't so lucky. His evil reflection is able to sneak into the real world, while the original is left trapped within the mirror. Since the evil Noah knows how to stay out of the reflective dimension, the original might have to spend an eternity reflecting on his invisible mistakes.
Since when did you start throwing with your right hand? Noah?
Number 3. Finding out you live in an ant-dominated world. Awesome ants.
I've got to do something. There's no way you can hurt me. I'm twice as big as them.
During a bug-themed Goosebumps episode, the audience is led to believe that the big twist is that a boy named Dave accidentally caused giant ants to attack his town. When it's revealed that he just dreamed up that scenario, the real nightmare begins. Dave wakes up to find that he actually lives in a world ruled by giant ants.
I know what you're thinking.
Mr. Lance!
You're thinking if things had been maybe just a little bit different, we'd be the dominant species.
The titanic insects also barely drop enough food to go around for him and his neighbors. Since the ants are both intelligent and powerful, unlikely that humans in this world will ever be free. Dave will always have to deal with the worst insect infestation of all time.
I dreamt that things were different. And ants were so small you could fit 1,000 of them in one hand. And it was your job to kill them.
Don't let them hear you say that.
Number 2. Discovering you're a robotic guinea pig. Shocker on Shock Street.
That is the tram for the new Shocker Studios tour ride.
You mean the tour is going to open?
Yes, and you are going to be the first 2 kids to ride it.
Erin was initially excited to test out her father's horror theme park ride with her best friend Marty. But once it becomes clear that all the monsters in the attraction are real, the duo struggles to get to safety. When Erin finally reaches her dad, he reveals that she and Marty are robots he designed to test the attraction.
What did you do? What did you do to Marty?
This shocking twist means that all their memories were nothing more than artificial creations. Additionally, they'll never be able to grow up and can be deactivated if someone figures out how they work. It turns out that the most terrifying aspect of the brutally real attraction was the fact that Erin and Marty were literally designed to test it.
We don't want to be deactivated. Do we, Marty?
No. We don't like that. We don't like that at all.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Cursed to become a puppet. Night of the Living Dummy 3.
Oh, Zane, did you hear the one about the 3 kids that tried to outsmart that dummy?
No, Sloppy. Tell me all about it.
Zane launched a plan to mess with his prank-happy cousins by moving dummies around the house and pretending to be scared of the puppets. But karma hit him hard after launching his sinister plot. Right before he arrived, his family members brought the cursed living dummy Slappy into their home. The villain eventually decides to turn Zane into a wooden doll to keep his cousins in check. It was rough to see the kid get transformed against his will. Although Zane regains human form, a final twist reveals that the curse still lives on inside of him. The kid was only guilty of pulling a few pranks. Unfortunately, he was sentenced to live out a cursed existence as one of Slappy's most twisted creations.
Bye, Zane. See ya.
Which of these terrible fates gave you the most goosebumps? Scream about them in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more WatchMojo videos.
I am sick of these scary human shows. Ugh.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.